Hi everyone, it's Kino here. When you're beginning to do the practice, Janu Sirsasana A, B, and C are three really wonderful postures to help open and externally rotate your hip joints. Today we're going to look at the B variation, which is a little bit of a complicated posture that will help you get an activation deep in the center of your pelvic floor. Obviously, the foundation for Janu Sirsasana B is Janu Sirsasana A. So let's actually start with the A position, which is nice and easy right here. Janu Sirsasana A should have the heel pressing as close to the groin as possible. So that means you don't want your heel too far out because that'll open the knee joint and it'll prevent you from externally rotating your hip. A nice easy way to get into that is to close your knee joint completely, and that'll prevent any torque inside of your knee and keep it nice and safe. And then just drop your hip out to the side to facilitate that external rotation. Then bring the heel in close towards the groin and bend your ankle. Again, it's important to keep the ankle quite flexed. Now we're going to look at Janu Sirsasana B, which will enter from this position. Now it's a little, maybe it's a little uncomfortable because we're going to press the heel into the perineum. If you don't know what your perineum is, that is the space between your genitals and your anus. Now I never knew what that was before yoga, so if you don't know what the perineum is, Google is a really good resource because you're not going to get a view of my perineum today. Now take your heel and press it down into the ground, so you're trying not to lift it up so much, and lift your pelvis. And as you do that, kind of move your hips forward and angle your perineum, the center of the pelvis, right onto your heel. So you'll feel yourself kind of propped up right on your foot, and it should feel a little uncomfortable down in the bottom of your pelvic floor. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. So you'll feel a natural lift coming from deep inside of the pelvic floor. Now some of you may find that you're getting a little bit of pressure right on your ankle or too much pressure on the knee. A great modification for Janu Sirsasana B, if this happens, is to, instead of keeping the foot flexed, to point your foot. And then you would go through the same movement and just make sure that the heel is pressing into the perineum. The more correct version of this posture is to have the foot flexed. So let's actually try to do it with the foot flexed. Now remember, if you need that modification, point your foot and bring the knee a little bit more forward. No pain in the knee, and if the pain around the ankle or the uncomfortability is tolerable, your knee should be out to the side about 85 degrees. So pick your pelvis up and again, sit your perineum right on top of your heel, and you'll notice that your pelvis naturally turns over to the side because it followed the external rotation of your right hip joint. Then with the power of your pelvic floor, suck in the low belly and angle your torso forward over the left leg. And then take your hands down, keep the belly sucked in. A nice little trick that I use is to roll the left thigh inward as you fold down into the interior space of the pelvis. Now, the left hamstring is a little bit not compromised, but just a little bit exposed. So keep the pelvic floor firm as though you're tucking under the left side of the pelvis just a little bit, and you'll feel the right side of the lower back starting to release. Keep the knee pointing out to the side, and then exhale and fold forward. And this is nice and easy to keep the elongation through the body. After about 5 breaths, you're going to inhale and come up, and then take your hands down. To come out of the posture, lift your pelvis up, and then gently go down. Traditionally, we would jump back and jump through, but I'm just going to show you the other side. So here we are in Janu Sirsasana A, which, if we want to get into that in the most safe way possible, you're closing the knee joint, then dropping it out to the side and pulling it in. Again, if you cannot perform Janu Sirsasana A safely, it's an indication that you might not want to try B. So pay attention to your body and move carefully and consciously. If you're ready to proceed and your knee and your foot feel good, we're going to keep that foot flexed, pick the pelvis up, and sink the perineum right onto the heel. So just sink it down there. And you'll feel that the right hamstring is propped up off the ground. Let the back of the right knee open and press your right heel into the ground. Do not lift your right heel, but keep it pressed into the ground. And again, if you're feeling that uncomfortability in your ankle, the easy modification is to point your foot, but if possible, try to keep it flexed. Now, we have the pelvis pointed over to the side. Grab the interior space of the pelvis and scoop it over, and then roll the right thigh inward as you fold downward, wrapping around. If you can't hold on to your wrist, just hold on to your foot or place your hands down, going as far as you can, but let your weight pour into the interior space of the right hip joint. Keeping the belly sucked in, right from the navel down to the pubic bone, right around here. You want to keep that sucked strongly in. Pull the abdominal muscles inside. Don't let them hang out. After 5 breaths, inhale, straighten your arms, exhale. Then take your hands to the floor, and it's time to jump back and jump through. So let's just go through that movement. If you've been following along with me up until now, then that'll feel really good just to help the back completely release. So cross your feet, hands forward of your pelvis. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, jump back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. From downward facing dog, look forward, nice and easy. Inhale, jump forward. Slide your feet through and down. No stress on the jump back, just to help the back release. So Janu Sirsasana B is a wonderful preparation for deepening your external rotation. That will help get you into lotus position. We're working on this in the traditional Ashtanga Yoga method. Be sure to build the foundation of healthy external hip rotation in Janu Sirsasana A before you proceed on to B. And for those of you working on lotus position, keeping the ankle flexed will build the ankle strength to prevent any injury in your ankles in a full lotus position. Remember to listen to your body, practice every day, and let the practice be your guide to the inner world. Thanks so much for watching.